It's 9 o'clock. As soon as we're on live, we'll start. 9 o'clock. As soon as we're on live, we'll start. We good? I think we're live. So we'll start this meeting with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks everyone for coming out here this morning. First is approval of the agenda. Are there any additions?
Yes, we do have an addition, number 6, the cleaning contract with Caitlin Steen for the probation office, prosecutor's office, prosecutor's office, and addition number 7, the animal shelter contract. Prosecutor's office, prosecutor's office, and
anything else on the agenda?
Number 7, the animal shelter contract.
What's that?
Chris, do you have a copy? You're adding the animal shelter under 7 and
Caitlin Steen 6, animal shelter contract 7. Caitlin Steen 6, animal shelter contract 7.
okay, and I'd also like to add at some point just a discussion on getting this information in by a deadline, so that just like now we've added a couple things to this here at the meeting. I'd like to have that early enough that I could review it. And then also somewhere stick it in, I have a letter from an attorney seeking to represent the commissioners.
Okay.
And it doesn't really matter.
Let's put that on the, you can put that on the commissioners, the attorney and letter.
Sure.
Just kind of put it right at the top there, right the first thing. We'll have that all the way. So.
And the discussion for deadlines, do you want that under commissioners?
Yeah, let's just put them back to back.
Okay. And the discussion for deadlines, do you want that under commissioners?
Yeah, let's just put them back to back.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't have anything. You got
I'll
anything?
make a motion to accept the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion made and second, carried 3-0. Next, organization of the board. Nominations for the president.
I nominate Randy.
Next, organization of the board.
I'll second that.
Nominations for the president.
Got a motion and a second? All in favor? Aye.
I guess I vote aye too to make it 3-0.
3-0.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Vice President.
3-0.
I make a motion to appoint Rebecca Thorne, Vice President.
Vice president.
I make a motion to.
I'll second that motion.
I guess I have to. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0.
Okay. Why can you get your chair?
I'm not moving.
You're not moving? Well, that's a tradition. You gotta move, Randy. Next meeting,
Yeah. Monthly meeting schedule. I've been asked, and I just want to throw this out here. We normally were having them on Monday and Tuesday, and we were having the Monday one in the evening. And there's a conflict because Tell City has their Monday in the evening also. And I was asked if we would consider just switching that and having the Monday one in the morning and the Tuesday one in the evening. so that someone could attend a Tell City Council meeting and also attend a commissioners meeting. And so I suggested I bring that up for discussion.
Keep them the same day of the month.
We would be doing, yeah,
Flip-flop.
just flip-flop, where we used to do the early. We did the evening meeting the first Monday, and that conflicts with, Tell City does the same thing, they have an evening meeting the first Monday.
You okay with the 9 o'clock in the morning? Yep.
I am.
That works better for me, actually, with my work.
Okay.
So can you state that? So it'll be 9 a.m. on Mondays, the first Monday of the month?
The first Monday,
So can you state that? So it'll be 9
with
a.m. on
the
Monday
change in the event, we have a holiday,
of the month?
it pushes over to Tuesday, if there's a conflict. I think Labor Day does that too.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same, it's just kick it to the next day.
Next day.
So early meeting will be 9 a.m., first Monday of the month. In the case of a holiday, it goes to Tuesday. Got it.
Randy, since you're on that,
Early meeting will be 9 a.m.
the next meeting on would be, I think, the 17th.
Yes,
I do have a conflict all day that day.
good, because I do too.
And I do Monday also, so if it could be moved to Wednesday morning, it'd be Wednesday evening at that time.
Okay.
It would help me.
What I was proposing, Randy, is going to the 23rd, because we're gonna be extended there, but the way the month stacks up, that would be a Monday, the
Okay.
23rd. Would that work for you?
I don't see anything on my calendar right now, so yeah.
And then we would, because the 30th falls the next one, so we're gonna be into February the 6th before we have
Okay.
it. So it would be a 2-week spread in there still.
Yeah.
Between those meetings. So if that works,
Well, that worked great.
okay.
That's great with me.
You okay with that, Becky?
Yeah, that'd be 6 PM on 23rd.
6 p.m. on the 23rd. Just a one-time adjustment. So if I have a motion to accept the new schedule,
I make a
What
motion.
is the evening schedule? Sorry, so I can make sure I have this right. 'Cause this is-
the evening is going to be the third Tuesday
What is the evening schedule?
of the month
Sorry, so I can make sure I have this right.
at 6 p.m.
It's gonna be the 3rd.
With the exception of the one in January, we're going to push it to the 23rd.
Got it.
Only thing, Randy, once we get a new attorney, we'll have to see what his schedule really looks like too.
Right.
Uh,
Those are things we need to discuss with him.
And we might have to change that or something, but he should be able to get one of the two.
One of the, that's what
Yeah.
Chris normally attended one of the
Yeah,
meetings, right? So,
yeah. And it just worked better for Chris that time, that evening meeting, so.
because he lived in town.
Yeah.
So, but we'll have that, you know, I think we need to have a little flexibility. So a motion was made to accept the schedule.
I'll second that.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, 0. 3-0. Now we're at the minutes.
Pam Goffnet had submitted minutes for September 6th, September 19th, October 3rd, October 18th, October 18th executive meeting, November 7th, November 15th, and December 5th. I submitted meeting minutes for December 29th. I will have all minutes to where they are being approved at the next meeting. So I plan, going forward, that will not get that clogged. Where they are being approved at the next meeting, so.
I'm not sure, we have some of these, as I read through them. Tom and I were there only, and now Tom's, does that mean I'm the exclusive signer of the minutes? Is that how we're gonna do that? I mean, they're dated back so far.
Yes. Basically, it's you and Randy, Rebecca can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause Becky
I mean, she wasn't involved.
Any of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Stay.
But
So two, you'll pass two, you know, or whatever. You two are the only ones.
I think that's a legal question, but I've asked that at some of the other meetings. You don't have to be present at the meeting to approve the next meeting minutes. That's what I've been told, but it's a matter of opinion on that, so.
Yeah. I don't know whether, I mean, does it take two commissioners to sign those minutes to make them legit? I would think it
It'd
would.
take two to approve them.
Two to approve them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So whoever approves them
it
probably.
kind of puts you on the spot because a couple of them you didn't
Yeah.
attend, so. But it kind of puts you on the spot because a couple of them you didn't attend, so.
Yeah, I already tell them, I mean, I think it's okay for, we can just approve them and probably be a good question to ask the new attorney going from
Whether
here.
that was correct.
Yeah. And we
Okay,
can address it if it wasn't, if he says it's okay.
okay. So we want to just take them as a group then, and it's going to be me
I'd like them to
and
be
you?
separate, please.
You would?
Each one of them separate?
No, Pam's and mine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All
I'd
right,
like them to be separate.
so then,
Okay, I'll make a motion up to the 29th, approve the minutes.
and I will second that one.
And I have to abstain.
All those in favor, yay? 2, and 1 abstention, 201. And then
And
for December 29th,
I'll make that motion approved.
second that one. Becky, you're abstaining on that again?
Yes.
201. Okay, Chris, you're on.
Okay, so payroll for January 2nd, we have, are you guys okay with me going forward? If we have the amounts to go ahead and check, so now I submit those to you guys, the reports to you. Sometimes with the way payroll flows, I don't have it in the time of the agenda. Do you want the amounts listed on the agenda or just on the report?
It's just been on the report in the past, so I mean, we get the number. one
Yeah, they
time.
come through with the information, so that's fine.
So, January 2nd of 2023 payroll in the amount of $159,475.27. Benefits for December in the amount of $11,080.82. I am bringing the December 29th claims, which we had some discrepancies on from the 29th meeting that we needed to clear up. Those have all been taken care of. So the December 29th claims in the amount of $150,995.69. So those are all of our payouts.
So I think we always did these individual,
Okay.
I'm thinking. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the payroll for 1/2/23.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Payroll benefits claims. Need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Yep.
And I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Approval of the claims dated December 29th, 2022.
I'll have to abstain on that.
That was from the last meeting.
Yes. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
2-0-1. Discussion on administrator.
Okay. I wanted to bring to the commissioners, the administrator position. That is something that most of the duties have been handled by the auditor's office with, the resignation leave of Teresa since, I think it was the end of August, 1st of September. I have went through all of the administrator's duties, both the official copy that is listed in the personnel handbook information, and then also Teresa's notes. With that, I feel that a lot of the duties can continue to be absorbed within the auditor's office. with the creation of the agenda. I will be doing the minutes, so I think it would be, good, I can do the agenda. We've been doing the website and job posting, which I feel that, needs some update and where we can officially put that in there to do. As far as the courthouse security system, we have been doing that. Commissioner claims are handled out of the auditor's office. That could just be something that can be done. Reconciling the CNS bill, gas bill can be done within our office. The use of the county car and meeting room scheduling can be done out of our office. I do, working with the maintenance, I feel that we need to look into putting in a system into play where a lot of that goes from we talked about this at the 29th meeting, where if there is a form to fill out as far as maintenance needs to communicate with Greg Hendershot on that. I think that we can put a policy in play where it's not solely on one person. I just put a work order in to get the batteries changed in that clock right there. So just things like that where if you see need on that, where it's not necessarily delegated to one person, but as far as being the liaison of communication with maintenance, I mean that could be done with department heads as we see fit. I do have a little bit of concern with the ADA and the Title V and VI. That's something we might need to look into in depth as far as, those duties. But as far as the administrator duties, I feel that the auditor's office can absorb those. And with that, in a sense, it would save the county money because it would free up the salary and the benefits of that. So what I was going to ask the commissioners, then go on to the council. As far as the administrator position, right now what's budgeted for that position is a $33,000 plus the additional that each of them gets. So that puts their salary budgeted of $34,324. With benefits and perf, that puts the total cost of that administrator position at $65,005.88. Okay. I would like to ask that with us taking on those duties in the administrator's office, that position, I would like to ask expense or salary be brought to the auditor's office in the place of one of my second deputies, because a lot of that is going to fall added responsibility. So basically switch out 33 for the salary of $31,727 with benefits $62,118.33. So in the end, it will save the county $62,118.30. So in the end, it will save the county $62,118.
I think on the, no, correct me if I'm wrong, I think on the approval of this would come in front of the commissioners, but any of the finances would go to the council for approval.
Yes.
They've already approved us rehiring an administrator, so they would have to address that. I like where you're going. The only concern I have is we got to make sure we specifically have all of our bases covered. I know there's a requirement to be in compliance for grants, and we need to make sure those documents are kept up to date, because if not, we're not eligible. So I'm not real comfortable with everything Teresa did. I know she did quite a lot and probably didn't perform us on half of what she did, so that we have all those bases covered and not a problem. Otherwise, just from the numbers, it looks like our benefits are in excess of $30,000, where our salaries at about $34,000. That's something, I don't know how we get around some of that stuff, but if we could look at those as a potential to maybe raising salaries and giving people a cafeteria style pick and choose on their benefits. Everybody has different issues, but that's on down the road. It's something we'd have to look into. I, for one, are you going to the council tonight, Chris? Gage
I have
there?
to, well, I have to wait until you guys. Yeah.
Well, I would like to have something very detailed as to this individual within your office is going. It's just like if we have a website issue and documents aren't being put up. I don't want the generality of the auditor's office was supposed to do that. I want to know who.
Yes.
Yeah, that way we can hold people accountable, and they too understand what their duties are.
Right.
That way we get it carried out.
Yeah, and I
Just so we
have
have,
these all lined out for my team meeting today as far as, you know, if this would go with that. Of course, the agenda and minutes would be on me. Scheduling meeting appointments and administrator support for commissioners would be on me. Ordering janitorial supplies, working with Greg on that would be on me. Courthouse security, I had delegated that to the first deputy if this would go. Website and job postings would go to Ashley. So yes, I have a lot of that already. If this would go, I thought through.
and it's like if we have someone that needs maintenance, we need to set up either a ticketing system or something that an email or something, so there's documentation that I need this. And then from there, it's directed, is it a maintenance issue? Is it a janitorial issue? Is it a whatever, so that it's directed to the right individual that's going to handle it. And I'm not sure, Greg being the maintenance quasi-parks, recs kind of guy, whether we would maybe want someone within each building versus having someone else. And I'm not throwing it out because I haven't thought through this, but maybe that would be better so that, you know, I don't know. I'm just talking out loud.
I see where you're coming from, Randy, on if, say, if this one lady does the webpage. I still think if one department's got an issue with that, I think it still probably needs to be directed into the auditor itself and let her, I think it'd be more clean that way.
Then Chris is your responsible party.
Yes, then she takes it from there.
She would be
And that's,
responsible.
and that's fine,
Yeah.
as long as we have her designated, so it's one, it's not one of five. So we know that it directs Chris, then Chris can delegate it if she chooses for somebody else to do it. But she's the one we're gonna go to and we're gonna say, Chris, this didn't get uploaded.
Wouldn't that, you think, would be?
Yes.
Okay, which is fine.
Yeah, that's like I said, I had it had kind of brainstormed within my office as far as that, but with bringing that, with me asking to bring that 33,000 over, that mainly, a lot of it would fall on me and that person as that, basically swapping that out.
What we don't wanna do is, with your normal duties, then just pile a bunch of things on you and you get behind. Now, that's something you're going to have to.
The only thing that concerns me is, which I have not, looked into, the ADA and the Title V and Title VI. That's why I was just bringing to your attention. The administrative stuff, we can create a system, we can create and handle that on an as-needed basis and make sure all of our T's are crossed and I's are dotted. But as far as the compliance, like you said, within that, I don't have enough knowledge to say that, yeah, I can handle that. So that's why I was just saying the administrative duties, but the ADA, Title I, Title V, and Title VI is something that we might need to look into.
And I think that is a requirement, again, for the grants, and a lot that we have an up-to-date program that's.
Right.
And I think if I remember Teresa spoke of it, there's, different things that we're supposed to be working towards.
Correct,
And
within the
she does
ADA.
documentation on that, and I'm not
And-
exactly sure what that involves.
Also, I did look into other counties surrounding. A lot of them do not have an administrative assistant. A lot of them, it is done this way where it's the auditors, but a lot of the extras, compliance stuff is subcontract out and whatnot, which would save on benefits and
Yeah.
stuff like that, so.
That may be something we want to look at, somebody that's a professional that just carries it out. I don't know if they're out there or what other counties use, but.
And we can find that out. We've got the Regional 15 with the grants, as far as subcontract out like that. So that's what I'm kind of looking into, maybe seeing with the Regional 15 if that's something else they consult on with the ADA.
Could you look into those things and then, get back with us, because I'm,
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, Steve Howe, when you apply for community crossings, that's supposed to be up to date, right? So it's pretty critical we get this done really quick.
And right.
I
Yeah.
talked to Teresa last week about it, she said, last year you guys approved the 3-year plan, she thought we got 2 years left on, I talked about it, she said, community crossings application, you guys, so I'm gonna be working on that, so I was concerned about that, got 2 years, the way she understood it, go ahead and place her application on, because it was nothing that was approved.
For 3 years, so we got roughly 2
That's
years,
what Teresa thought it was, yes.
but we need to get on it before
Right.
it slips on.
And whether we need to reaffirm it or anything, I don't know whether that's a
I'll
requirement.
put a new
whether-
person in charge, yeah.
But we need to have somebody.
Could you reach out to Teresa and see if she'd be interested in doing it?
Possibility.
She do it?
Absolutely.
And the prosecutor? I don't know, but
You know, pay her a stipend on the
she's really good with that
side.
stuff, so ask her to do it, or she could just say no.
She's in the community and she's familiar with it if she wants to take it on.
She's really good with that stuff, so.
Ask her.
Look into all
She could
this.
just say no.
Chris, on this assigning of the duties throughout your office on your deputies, will they be compensated?
Like I said, with bringing, in my black and white brain, bringing a majority of that bringing that $33,000 over would be the compensation. Basically trading out the 31,000 for the 33. So a majority of the duties will go on that person and myself with no additional compensation. But as far as if someone comes in and wants to rent the car, anybody in the office can handle that. That's customer service. But as far as the website that I have, like my cheat sheet here, the website, the security system, claims. That's why I wanted that as my second deputy, because the claims would take over the website. The claims person would take over the commissioner claims. That person would also take over reconciling the CNS bill, which I think Mindy now does. And then, like I said, courthouse law, car law would be everyone. That is a majority, like I said, of these duties that I went through as far as the descriptions from Teresa and the personnel handbook of the administrator duties. A lot of them are just kind of like understood. It's customer service things to do. But as far as being the person that takes messages for you guys, that would be directed to me, scheduling meetings with you guys, appointments and whatnot. The main line of communication between you guys would be with myself. And then that one of her main things, she said, she ordered the janitorial supplies, so every month we'll just go check and make sure we have Lysol wipes and all that stuff. GNS takes care of most of that, most of their cleaning supplies, but just for our extra stuff as far as that, making sure those are there. I'm good with taking that on, or I might, like I said, pass that off to my second deputy, going hand in hand. With bringing that on, that claims position, we have, which is a very tedious, I just want to address any concerns of too much workload on that person. We have definitely looked at areas within the claims, and we've already started being more time efficient, using the benefits of LAO that offers building templates to be more time efficient with our claims. So that is going to free up time, if that makes sense.
That's why we spent $400,000 on
Yes.
software.
So we've definitely already started last month getting all that set up. LAO's been very good coming down. So that's why I want to assure this isn't just more workload. We've done things to make the claims position more efficient to where it will free up more time for them to do these added duties. Done things to make the claims position.
I think it's a minor thing also, I don't know if we've thought about that yet, is Teresa has taken a lot of phone calls, just people's not sure where they need, what department they need to go. Will the phone will be transferred over to your office at that time?
Yes. We do a lot of that here, even in the public that comes in. We're the first office there. I've noticed that within the last months that I've been there. We do a lot of that here routing people where they need to go. We're kind of like that first door there, so they come in. So our office is pretty good and used to that.
We don't want to miss anything, we want to try to cover all the bases, so.
This will all be put on the deputies' job duties, just in case
Yes.
one of them would happen to leave and you would have to advertise.
Yes, this will all go under the second deputy. I am looking to revise a few of the job duties within my office too, as far as that. Update them just a little bit on that, so it's in the works.
So am I getting a consensus, we're kind of okay with this? Encourage her to go forward and get the details worked out and then approach the council? I don't think the
Yeah.
council have problems saving money.
I'm okay with it if the council helps us out with the funding.
Yes.
If not, well, maybe we can reevaluate it.
So I'm thinking, Chris, we won't take a vote.
Okay.
We'll just kind of table it for more detail, council approval, and, you know, if we get descriptions that pass on to the different working groups and they're okay with it,
Okay.
I think we're okay too. And then we can always revisit this here if we've created an animal that's hard to tame.
Okay, so I'll reach out to Regional 15 to see if they can assist with ADA and Title 5 and 6 compliance. And then also, once we get moving, reach out to Teresa to see if this is something that maybe we can.
She may, you may reach out to her also on the ADA, the things that she did just for the normal operation. She may have an interest in that, and she's local, probably.
Okay,
One thing you may want to look at also is what is the compensation for the
I think that'll be ironed out so that we have, so when we get more of the details worked out, where we're going and how many dollars we're spending and that. But that way we're just not talking in generalities, you know, specifically who's gonna be tasked with certain job duties and then how they'll be compensated accordingly.
ADA,
Yeah.
there's going to have to be some compensation.
Possibly, yeah.
to Teresa.
And then,
We can still save money because we may pay, like if Teresa does do X number of dollars versus that there won't be no benefits.
right, it'll be a stipend type deal.
And it'll come out, so basically eliminating that position puts us ahead 62,000. So then whatever we would pay for the ADA
For some of these other
will come out of
contracts.
that. In the end, we're still going to save the county money.
And I know, Chris, you said it in the past that you're cross-training some of your employees so that they can cover it if somebody's sick or something.
Yeah, we are creating a buddy system right now, just because we are so young, just so everyone knows, my most seasoned deputy is 6 months. So we are, and I had a brand new one start today. So we are definitely going to start out with the buddy system right now, and everybody's kind of aware of that. I'm good with payroll, so Kelly and I, I'm her backup on payroll. We've got Ashley in the second deputy, and then Kim Lasher is her backup on claims, so she's learning claims along with Ashley, because Ashley is new to claims, because Susan Carbonell used to do claims, so it's really nice having a full staff right now coming in to where they're learning together. So Ashley and Kim are learning together, and then Sam Reed, who just started in October, who did settlement and property tax. Her and my new employee, new deputy, Nicole Sen, will be learning together. So we're just a big group right now, just learning together.
Kevin?
And also on all that stuff, I mean, we can pass some of these, you know, these duties along to other officers too. You know, I could take on some things, and I'm sure all that stuff too, instead of just one office doing everything. You know, like the county vehicle, I can take care of that in my office. You know,
I
something
mean,
like that. So
if you work within here and spread it, it won't become such a big burden on any one entity.
I think our new motto on this is
Absolutely.
team,
Team,
across
absolutely.
the whole board.
I like that.
Right, Randy?
I like that, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think our new motto.
Give your partner a hand.
We're all in this together.
Exactly. Okay, so where are we at right now? We're down to commissioners, right? Yes. And the first thing we've got is I have a letter, and I've shared it with, both of you got it, correct? Okay. Asking for consideration. It is from Andrew Foster, and his experience in county city government, he was the attorney for the town of Troy in 2015, attorney for the Finch Newton water system currently from 2015 forward, attorney for the town of Chrisney 2015 current. He's currently the Spencer County Council's attorney from 2017 forward, and he's the attorney for the Spencer County Health Department 2021 and current. So he's the letter I received. If you're okay with it, I'd like to sit down with him and try to go through it and negotiate it using Chris Goffins as an example, and see if he's comfortable with that contract or one similar to it to carry out the duties for the commissioners.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank Chris for his years of service to the county. I mean, Chris went above and beyond a lot of times, taking calls from everybody, but he did a really, really great job for us. So I want to thank you, Chris, for that. But also, yeah, I did do a little asking a couple people, and they think highly of Andrew for a county attorney in down in Spencer County. I knew a few people there, so yeah, I think I'd like to see you sit down with him, Randy. And
You're okay with it?
Yes. I just want to make sure that his availability of being in Spencer County, Perry County, you know, if that's.
He probably is not driving any farther than you are.
Well, that's probably true, but I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'd ask that
with him
question
being the
too.
attorney,
He has to be
that's-
responsive to our
Right.
needs and to understand he's representing multiple departments.
Right, because I know a lot of the gals here at the courthouse that, well, Chris, for one, has to call the attorney quite a bit, you know, his availability for that.
Right.
And I think the highway department uses attorney quite a
Yes.
bit too,
Yeah.
with
Yes.
different things, so all departments actually do
Right.
so.
Yes,
Yes.
you realize that part. And I would assume being the council attorney in Spencer County and these others,
He knows a little bit about county government.
he understands. So, if that's okay, I guess I'm asking for a motion to negotiate and hire him if we get to a acceptable contract agreement. And I'll reach out to him.
I'll
Works for
second
you?
that motion.
Somebody need a first.
Oh, well, okay.
I'll second Becky's motion on that.
Okay, you got a first and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 0. So we're gonna reach out to him and I'll see what I can get put together. The other thing we added that I wanted to add to it was a deadline. And as we get our packets and that, I'm one that likes to read through the information and have it available. And what I'd like to do is just to make every department head, every individual. I had a gentleman call me this morning to want to get on the agenda, and I told him, I said, you're going to have your documentation to us in advance, because I'm not going to ask anyone to discuss and make decisions without having the information. And I would like to propose Wednesday as our cutoff date, so that everybody needs to have everything in by Wednesday. Then Chris can generate the agenda and get it posted timely on Thursday to keep us in our 48-hour compliance. So
It's
that
a
we
Wednesday.
evening by 4 o'clock, so that she has all of her information to the auditor by Wednesday evening. Now, if there's an emergency comes up, it happens. But, I'm just saying in general, when you want to come in and discuss some things, get the information to us. That way she can distribute it. We'll have the weekend. If we have a Monday meeting, it'll be in the morning. So then we'll have time enough to actually read through the information, and then we can actually have a little more involved discussion with it.
Will this affect the evening meeting also?
I would just set, so that we don't get a confusion started, just set it at Wednesday.
Okay.
It's gonna be Wednesday, whether we have an early morning or evening meeting, whether it's a Monday or a Tuesday. That way, well, I thought I could put it in by Thursday. Well, I thought I could, we just set a time so that it comes in.
And if there is an emergency, that department could email us like on Friday. We have time to look at it.
Exactly.
And if we
If
weren't
there's
on the
something-
agenda, we could then.
Yes, yes. We've always got the flexibility to add it to the agenda.
Yes.
If it's something that comes up, but it basically sets the time, so it gives us an opportunity to review the information prior to the meeting. And then we can have our questions ready. If everybody's comfortable with that, I'd like a motion to set the Wednesday evening as a deadline for.
I think that would actually help you as an auditor.
Very much so, I like that, very much so. We have a listing right now, like where, with appropriations, additionals, and stuff like that, where there's a deadline. So this is nice to have a list format and also where, with
Wanna make a motion
appropriations,
then?
additionals, and stuff like that, where there's.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0, Wednesday evening, she'll have it in. Okay, the next one is Caitlin Steen.
Yes. Caitlin Steen cleans the prosecutor's office. And it was brought to my attention that that contract was not renewed for 2023. So I have that with no changes, basically the exact same as last year. She's paid $2,400, in monthly installments of $200. And so I've got that contract. $2,400 in monthly installments.
Now, with that said, I don't, here's my concern. I don't know if I've ever read that. My concern with this is we have a new prosecutor, and it's her office, so we need to reach out to her. And secondly, I'm concerned with, is Caitlin an independent contractor? And the reason I'm concerned with that is with workman's compensation, if she was injured performing her cleaning duties, where exactly is the county as far as liability is concerned? And do we require any type of insurance or anything to that nature? But and if there's a way to sign a waiver or something to that nature to take the responsibility off of the county potentially for liability, I would be okay with that too. But some way to protect the county's interest there, so we wouldn't find ourselves in an unprotected situation. That would be my concern.
Would this be advertised, or would this be just?
It was on the list to bring with the contracts, and was just overlooked at the.
It's been done for several years, just because she's actually an employee there, and she just does it after hours.
I know, it's the.
I know Randy talks about the liability, and you have to be so careful anymore. I mean, somebody twists an ankle. I know Randy talks about the liability, and you have to be so
Yeah,
careful.
I remember there was an incident several years ago of someone that was hurt here
Yes.
at the courthouse.
Yes.
And it was a substantial workers' compensation
was.
loss. And it was a slip or something when they were mopping, or I'm not exactly sure of the details, but it was big. And we don't want to find the county unprotected because
Yes,
we
I'd like
hired
to see them
someone.
bonded.
Insurance is the main thing, so.
Well,
But.
Well, back to our attorney. We need to get
Exactly.
their attorney to ask those
And the
questions.
problem we've got with all these cleaning contracts, and I'll say this right now, is they're expired. So here's the first of the year.
Right.
And we don't have anything in place, but,
Would carry their contracts over for a month?
That's what I was going to tell you. We
January.
extended a month here today, and maybe by then he could
get an answer
give an answer.
and what we should do. I mean, we've been doing it all along. I don't know whether Caitlin's
Chris,
comfortable with
did you
that.
say she was not gonna renew her contract?
It wasn't renewed.
Oh, it
It
wasn't
wasn't.
renewed?
Yeah, we didn't ever take action on it.
It didn't, it wasn't brought.
Went through the cracks.
It wasn't brought to you
Yeah.
guys,
Okay.
to the
Would-
commissioners.
Would you be able to contact her and ask her, would she be able to extend for a month
So
until
we can actually get the
attorney.
details worked out a little better.
Right, and you know, if Glenn's cleaning service would agree to extending it for a month, Mr. Glenn's here, so.
Yeah, I've got that on the agenda too. There's some, bring to your guys' attention in regards to.
Yeah.
So, do we want to make a motion, if she accepts it, to extend the current 2022 contract for the month of January?
Yes.
I didn't-
I'll make that motion, Randy. And I think,
And I'll second.
too, with that, you'll probably meet with the attorney within a year. If you get some kind of agreement, go at him pretty quick.
Right, I want to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
And then he's going to get started because we really want to consider that. And we may have to get a hold of our insurance provider to see exactly where we are liability-wise on some of these actions, so.
And you might, he'll want to know the details. She is an employee. She's covered, but not under clean.
Right, and so is there another way to take an employee and pay them, cover them under the county's workman's compensation? That becomes just another duty, as Chris is doing, under her job description. That might be an angle to work to. So we can look at the options, so.
I'll
we got a
make that motion,
and a
yeah.
second to extend it for 30 days, if she'll accept it.
And Mr.
Till we get the details made out.
will accept it.
Okay, she's gonna bring that up in a minute. All those in favor for that?
Aye.
3-0. Okay. Next thing, we're going to courthouse appointments. First one's Kevin Herb. You know, I skipped that, Keith.
Oh, yeah, we skipped staggered.
Okay, staggered lunch. Thanks, Keith. And,
Do you want me to go on that? Okay.
Sure.
It has been brought to my attention by several, both council and commissioner meetings, or commissioners, that through COVID, we had staggered lunch. We did away with the staggered lunches within each office, basically keeping the courthouse off open from 12 to 1. Currently, right now, it's closed from 12 to 1. Post-COVID, I guess we could say we're post-COVID, it has still been where the office is closed from 12 to 1. So it has been brought that the suggestion that we go back to staggered lunches within each office, where basically the courthouse is open from 8 to 4 daily to serve the public. So that's what that is.
I make a motion that,
Can we discuss that a little bit?
yeah.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Since I'm probably the only one here that, when that was put into place, it was put into place for a little more of a security issue to help clean a little bit and during COVID. A lot of unexpected, a lot of challenges we had then. I see some of the challenges now. For the public, I agree it needs to be open. But when we look at that, we got to look at a couple other things, other departments. One of them is our deputy that's out there. That puts a little bit more challenge on our, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, for him to staff that position during lunch hours. See, he's got to take his break also, his lunch break. So Alan's got to fill that position. That's a little bit of a challenge at breaking for lunch. And another one is, some departments maybe has 3 employees in it. So if 2 of them's gonna go to a workshop or a conference, that leaves 1 employee. That could be fixed by another department maybe helping out with an employee coming into that office. But that's a challenge also. Correct me if I'm wrong, departments. So I'm just throwing everything out there so we can have a conversation with this. But I am for, I think, for the public itself, come up there and see that's locked. I'm just throwing everything out there so we. That's not a good sign at lunch, because a lot of times people will do their business at lunch.
As an office owner, I agree with opening it back up during lunch, because me and Mary, we walk around here at the courthouse at lunchtime, and we see a lot of people coming at lunchtime trying to get in, and we're missing our customers.
And a person told me that people's already aggravated if they gotta come to the courthouse anyway, because they have to pay taxes or go to court.
Right.
And they don't want to come up to a locked door. I mean, that's kind of, the guy said it in a joking way, but it's kind of true, And that, you know,
They're
a
mad.
little irritating, you
They're
know.
mad and they just get madder.
Yeah.
The, I think you're correct in the security end of it, and I agree with you. The sheriff's deputies are probably on an 8-hour versus a 7-hour, I'm assuming. As the courthouse is,
That's correct.
correct, yeah. So it's not an actually overtime thing, it would be a matter of just somebody that would rotate so that he could, you know, take his lunch break or whatever he wanted to do in order to cover that. So, and it maybe he only wants to take 15 minutes off or a half hour, who knows? But some way to work that out, and I think you're gonna have to let each group, you know, kind of work that task through, you know, whatever works for them. I don't know that we have to have anything really strict in accordance. I know, and I haven't looked into it yet, the judge had made the statement to me that everything in their part is done by appointment. They schedule it. If you want to come in to see your parole officer, you have to schedule it. It's not got walk-in. And she said, check with some of the other courts to see how they handle this over noon type deal. I haven't done that yet. So it may be a little bit of a challenge for the courts, and probably the rest of the courthouse is probably okay with the noon being open. But I think we need to consider on any one of them, but I too think it needs to be opened up for the general public. I know Kevin made mention that there's people that would like to come see him during their lunch hour that are working about veterans benefits, and you know, he then has the flexibility if he wants to grab something to eat a little later. And if we do have a situation and it occurs, the general public will just have to accept the fact that the treasurer's office does not have the staff. They are sick, something happened, and it happens with any other business. You know, if you don't have the people there, you can't provide the service. McDonald's even shut down at one time during this. So it's not like it's a continuing, ongoing thing all the time. So they'll just have to be patient with us. So, yeah.
You okay with it?
So I'd say everybody pretty well, the officers are on board.
You okay with it? Can you handle that, Alan?
I'll make it work. Just, yes, make it work. It's just gonna, to stagger that, sometimes I'm gone to somewhere, or if my guys are on the call, it's just gonna, I'll make it work. Somehow, some way. Sometimes I'm going to somewhere, or if my guys are on the call, there should be, I'll make it work somehow, some way.
I saw you out there, Kevin.
I thought the same thing, Kevin.
Yeah. 'Cause he's been out there sitting there before.
Never sit out there.
So,
I thought maybe even like a job.
And there are times I could, but like I said, I'll talk to Eric, and we've already, because of the agenda came out, we've already been discussing, so I'll make it work. Like I said, I'll talk to Eric.
can we,
There where it hasn't been made to work, where they have had to sit out there without, and we've gone and bought them lunch. And that's nothing against you, it's because you're short staffed.
You know, there has been times where it hasn't been made to work,
for that extra hour that they're working.
sit out there without, and we've gone and bought them lunch.
You should be able to get.
And that's nothing against you, it's because you're short staffed.
but see, I think he's already, he's on an 8-hour shift.
For that extra hour.
So when he's 8 to 4, it's his 8-hour
You
shift.
should be able to get going for it.
So,
I got a suggestion. Alan, if we do this, which it looks like we might, we probably could call the security committee back into play and see if there's any options there to help you out.
Judge Goffin and I have actually talked about getting together and having another meeting soon. Because I know that some things were approved as far as security. Again, we had to do that, but like I said, I will make it work. And you're around too sometimes, and that helps. I appreciate that very much, but I can make it work.
Okay. Thanks, Alan. The security committee was formed when we had an incident out front of the courthouse years ago. And that's where that came about. That's where the big pillars out front came about. And I think tinting of some of the glass out front was one of the things. Correct me if I'm missing anything, Alan, but we kind of seen how we could secure the courthouse in case something that you see about it just about every day on the news, trying to stop what the worst thing could happen. So that committee could get a little more active with this too, if we can help with that, so. Then we might want to put one of us back on that committee. I think I was on it at one time.
Yes.
But,
The
you know,
councilman too on there, the council, the judge, myself, I asked
Steve Hauser, I believe, was on there.
Steve Hauser, and I asked the chief of police of Tell City to help me with it one time, so. Judge, myself, I asked Steve Hauser.
So,
Steve Hauser, and I asked the chief of police of Tell City.
Between now and our next meeting, would it be appropriate to assemble the stakeholders, which I mean all of the office group, Alan, the judge, and formulate, you know, with how we're going to open the courthouse back up, or do you want to open it? I mean, that's the question. Do we want to, I would like to have, because I know the judge expressed some concern. And I'm
just concerned with opening it, or?
Yes, about being open during the lunch hour and having sufficient staff, because she always wants to leave two within the office. She doesn't want to leave one person by themselves. So how they're going to handle that. And that's when she said everything in their side of it is by appointment. That's how they function. They don't have, you can't just walk in and talk to your parole officer. You're going to have to schedule a get-together. Then on the other side of it is they do have, because I know we talked security about changing the doors and the configuration, so they do have walk-ins. Or they wouldn't want that security changed on their doors, and how they can have access to their side by just reaching over the window. So.
I'm okay with meeting. I mean,
Can I make
the mini.
How-
Yeah.
How about we just wait just a little bit until we can form somebody from the council, somebody from the commissioner, myself, the judge, and come up with a plan? I mean, it won't take that long just to get together.
That's what I'm thinking, is if we could put this off and basically have a target date for the 23rd to make this final decision and open it up or something.
How about us go for the first meeting in February? That one?
Open it
That
February
give you a
1st.
little bit more, yeah.
That'd also give me some time to figure, maybe I can change some things around as far as, but yeah.
Keep it security. But I'd like to get all sides of it, so, because there's a lot of peculiarities that we may be missing, so we address them, so it kind of opens up flawlessly. As long as everybody understands our intent is to open it up, start working on your schedule, how you're gonna rotate them, what you're gonna do to provide those services. And then just February 1st.
Well, we have to,
We'll have our meeting on the 23rd, and if all of our ducks are in a row, we'll approve it and open it February 1st.
Is it okay that if I go ahead and contact who to start?
Yeah, I would think you want to assemble a group for a discussion to see, to make sure we're not missing something.
I think Alan's talking about the security.
Yeah, I think that's relevant too.
Can you choose somebody today who you would like, and then maybe tonight I will ask them, the council, see who would they recommend, who would they like to be on the, can you choose somebody today? On there?
What are you just having, like security for this building or
Yes.
in general?
That's what we've done before.
Do we have any kind of a criteria or how that, something written as far as how that works? The security and what their authority is, or what, how does?
No, actually, the sheriff is in charge of the security, and that's fine, but I just know I've had people in the past, we've talked about different things when we had the incident here. We did put some things in place that we didn't have before.
So what are you envisioning, a councilman, a commissioner, yourself?
Steve Hauser,
Okay,
yeah, like
that four, to come up with a plan on how to rotate.
And the judge.
And the judge, to rotate someone in and out of that position.
And I believe last time, the auditor was on there also. And the judge.
I mean, I don't.
Yes, it was.
And I believe last time.
So this is the security committee that you have.
Yes.
It's just I would envision that as a short-term group that just comes up with a solution here for the opening of the courthouse. Not a permanent type committee.
It'd be nice if we just have a discussion. I don't want to have that an open thing, but.
I got it, yeah.
It'd be nice to
Make
have.
recommendations to